Hello and welcome to the Bread for Cloud user group. This is the November podcast. Really looking forward to speaking to our guest today. I'm not going to spoil it as yet. Saj, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm on a busy day at work.
Welcome, everyone.
But always look forward to the podcasts, especially with this next guest. Our next guest, just going to give you an advance warning. If you've not got MFA enabled or you've not got any strong passwords, you better run because he'll be after you. I would like to introduce Viktor Hedberg. He's a cybersecurity consultant working at TrueSec, an absolute massive passion for security. He is a recently awarded and well-deserved MVP. He's also an MCT. And here he is. Drum roll. And here he is. How are you doing, Viktor?
I'm fine. Fine, thanks. I just wolfed down some dinner with my family, so now I'm here.
Fully energized.
It's good to have you on. We last met you at the South Coast Summit. So yeah, it was great. How did you find the South Coast?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? My internet connection kind of dropped.
Sorry. Yeah, no problem. I was just saying It's great meeting you again virtually. We obviously met in the South Coast Summit a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
which we all thoroughly enjoyed. Finally, an in-person event. Was that your first in-person event, Viktor?
Well, it was my first in-person event in like a year and a half, something like that.
Sorry, meaning in the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was really good to get to catch up with all the people I've been connecting to on Twitter and so on. Just for the people that don't know you, I think I'll give you a small intro there. You probably heard it whilst you were in backstage. Has he cut off again? Oh, he's back.
It's slightly dropped again, I think, his internet.
Okay, he's back. It's all right. It's okay. He's back. Can you hear us? It's all right.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Tech issues. It's all normal. It's fine. Just for the people that don't know you, can you just introduce yourself, please, Viktor?
Absolutely. So, as previously mentioned, my name is Viktor Hedberg. I work as a security consultant, security advisor, whatever you want to call it, for a company in Sweden. Let's see. Oh, I'm back again.
Bad day connectivity. Are you sure you're not being hacked?
Yeah.
Are you sure someone's not hacking?
Yeah. It's fine. But as I said, I work as a cybersecurity consultant, and what I do on a day-to-day basis is proactively trying to and once they've gotten into your infrastructure, we go into the incident response mode, which, well, a really big one, kind of involves our entire company with people, just doing stuff to kind of mitigate what's been done and get the customer back up and running.
Yeah, it seems like a very interesting role.
Yeah, it is, and you really need to stay on your toes.
Absolutely.
To try to stay ahead and keep ahead from what the bad guys want to do.
Yeah, by the way, that session you did at the South Coast Summit, I know it was only 20 minutes, but yeah, amazing session, mate. Well done on that one. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that. Looks like you're having some connectivity issues again, Viktor. Keep freezing up a bit.
I don't know why. I got the cable plugged in and everything. I'm not even on Wi-Fi anymore.
It's all right. Oh well.
Sure, you don't want to reboot?
Might be that. I'm trying to close all the 48,000 tabs I've got open. So.
You must use a massive SKU scanning.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know what? This is what you get in tech. You sometimes have ups and downs with connectivity. It's fine.
Well, good. So, Viktor, you just in your introduction you spoke about what you did. So if we skip ahead a little bit, it was mentioned you presented at the South Coast Summit. Do you want to quickly summarize your amazing talk that you gave there, just for our viewers on the advice that you're giving on AD?
Yeah, sure. Well, my talk mostly revolved around the do's and don'ts of Azure Active Directory, all based in real life experiences, helping companies try to mitigate a breach. So what I talked about was the Azure Active Directory is not secure by default, and I don't think it's meant to be either, because it's you're meant to purchase a subscription, start using it, security comes after, kind of thing. So yeah, we kind of need to take a step back to look at basic security hygiene when it comes to utilizing the cloud for our infrastructure. Because you can talk all you want about the flashy security products like Defender for Endpoint or identity protection or any Defender suite capabilities, but if you don't have that core security hygiene in place, you'll kind of trip over your own faults anyways. So yeah, trying to spread the knowledge about basic security hygiene and get things back to basic. We can build from there.
No, true. I think the basic principle is out of the box. A lot of features are enabled in Azure AD, so someone can get up and running with it quite quickly. But I agree with you, it's definitely not secure by design in that regard. So you need to take steps to secure it.
Absolutely, and there has been advances made in the last couple of years with security defaults being enabled on all new tenants, but that's just a flick of a switch to disable, right? Because all it takes is like a grumpy phone call from a CEO somewhere telling an IT administrator to, I can't sign into my mail on my iPhone anymore. You need to help me, and then just flick the switch to off again, and you're vulnerable once more, right?
Yeah, it's easy done, isn't it? You mentioned something on your talk. You said never accept the defaults.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, never accept the default. Do you find people do that? Are they just going straight in there with the defaults, or?
Yeah, to some extent, yeah, because the insight and the competence required to actually know what settings are available by default and why you shouldn't have them enabled by default. It takes time and it takes practice to realize, what do we need to reconfigure to stay as safe as possible. So it's something that we see on, well, not a daily basis, but at least a weekly basis, that these fundamental stuff that you really need to look at, they're not taken care of.
No, I totally agree with you. It is very important.
So you find that with larger organizations or smaller organizations, or is it with just everyone?
Well, my company, we do have a website that's like, we have a big red button stating that, are you under attack? Click here. So it's, we help anyone who's in need of our help. But when it comes to our consultancy services, we mostly work with enterprise customers, the rather either really big ones or just tipping the threshold to an enterprise customer. So we don't have as many SMB customers on a regular basis.
Oh, that's interesting, because enterprise customers with the large resources that they have still fall over the same issues with, the basics of security not being met up front.
Yeah, totally. And I think it kind of stems from, working in silos previously, where you have like the security team only focusing on security, and you have the identity team only focusing on identity, and the exchange team only doing exchange stuff. But now in the cloud, you have all of these teams kind of bunched together, and they need to work together towards a common goal. And I think that some of the stuff kind of gets dropped between shares, or I don't know what the English saying is for it, but it just gets forgotten or left. Fallen through the cracks. Yeah, exactly.
No, you know what? Once again, that session was great, mate. Really loved it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I've attended a few of your sessions. You've obviously been on the Bradford Cloud User Group on the live event. Again, totally love the security sessions. Is this something you do often? Public speaking. You obviously come across very, very confident. You were, really cool doing that. doing that session in South Coast Summit. Is this public speaking something you do quite often? Is it?
Yeah, well, prior to the pandemic, I try to, get as many sessions as possible. But I've attended numerous user groups the last year virtually, which has, only been a benefit from my point of view because I don't have to travel as much. But I don't, of course, there's some nervousness surrounding it, but I just like to talk about the things that I love, security-wise or technology-wise, and it all kind of comes naturally to me.
Yeah, you've seen you're obviously quite known now in the tech community. Beware of Viktor. Make sure MFA is enabled.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually doing a session next week at our company's own security summit. So it's a full day event in Sweden on site with the brightest minds from my company and me.
Nice. Yeah. No.
So the Scottish Summits in February, I think. Are you speaking at that? Are you coming back to England to do a talk there?
Fingers crossed. I've submitted a few sessions, but I don't know whether or not they will get accepted. I'm trying to tilt the table in my favor. Subtly threatening the guys, selecting the sessions or whatever. But fingers crossed. I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And if they don't, if anyone's listening from the Scottish Summit, accept their sessions, please. You love them.
Yeah, but they don't see the name. They don't see the name of the speaker on each session. They only see the session's name. So okay. I can drop the session names, and maybe someone will pick up on it.
I'm sure they will.
Why not? I second Imran. You'll be a great speaker to have at the Scottish Summit or any other summit for that matter.
What's that mean?
Yeah, thanks.
No, you as well, Imran.
Mate, I'm not. I thought you were trying to put. I thought you were trying to get me to promise here to submit a session.
Yeah, why not? No,
I am attending, hopefully.
Yeah.
To watch Viktor's session, and if his session's not submitted, I'm not coming. Organisers of South. Sorry, look, I call it South Coast again. Scottish Summit. I won't be coming. Sadly, won't be coming. No one's coming.
The only one's coming is like Shabazz because he's volunteering to help with the event.
Yeah, he'll be there on his own.
Yeah,
he'll be there on his own.
Oh. So Viktor, with your security, do you purely focus on Azure security, or do you do like on-premise security, other clouds like AWS?
Well, I don't have that skill set to transition to AWS. I know how to utilize the security features in Microsoft Cloud solutions to secure AWS, using Cloud App Security, Sentinel, that kind of stuff. But I'm not as well versed in actually working with security in AWS. But on the other hand, I'm not purely talking about and working with cloud security when it comes to Microsoft, because we all have legacy to adhere to as well. So a lot of our consultancy services revolve around Active Directory security as well, because it's still a big thing, whether you're in Office 365 or not.
And environments are going to be hybrid, not purely cloud. Then you will have to take consideration of on-premise Active Directory security as well as Azure AD.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Do you know you obviously work in security, and we know you're really good at it. How did your journey start in terms of how did you get to where you are now, and what would you recommend for somebody who wants to go down the security route? Kind of same kind of role.
Yeah, so my journey started in the help desk, as for many other of us. Started in like first line support, second line support, and then I studied a course in Sweden which revolved around Azure and Office 365. This was when Azure was kind of new on the block. So it's like a higher vocational diploma kind of thing. It's not like a university course. It's more like a a practical course where you study stuff and you actually get to do it as well. So I did that for a couple of years, working at the help desk. Kind of picked on my interest, watching what's going on under the hood. Transitioned into a role revolving around identity management, working a lot with Forefront Identity Manager and Microsoft Identity Manager, and from building on the experience from the help desk days, I was also quite familiar with Office 365 and Azure Active Directory. So it's always, it's been like a kind of snowball effect. You start small and then you transition into a bigger role. There's been some side steps from the path, not intentional on my part, but picking up a role which wasn't what it sounded like. But once I took the leap into working as a consultant, that's when really stuff kicked off. Because the previous roles, like the identity stuff and the help desk stuff, was basically public sector here in Sweden. So it's quite big, bulky organizations. Changes are hard, if not impossible. But taking the leap and working as a consultant really put a new spin on it. And well, I'm just trying to stay active with talking about and sharing stuff that I'm interested in, whether it's on my LinkedIn page, on my blog, on my Twitter feed. I'm just trying to get the information out there because I know it's important and I want to show everyone else that, you should look at this. And that's really how I came in touch with my current employer, because one of the CEOs reached out to me over LinkedIn and saying that, we've heard a lot of good things about you. I've been following you on this and that social media. I'd really like to meet, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's the short, long version of how I got where I am today. And for any tips, how to get here, you really need to, I started with learning the fundamentals of like Microsoft infrastructure, basically. Working a lot with Active Directory surely has helped with getting to where I am today. And I think you kind of need to start at that point to, start from scratch. Fiddle about, build your own lab environment, get familiar with the tools you're trying to protect, and then you'll transition into learning how to protect it. And don't let your passion stop you. Just keep doing what you love, and good things will happen.
You said something really interesting there. Sorry, fireworks are going off. I don't know if you could hear those outside.
No.
That's fine. It looks like Teams noise cancellation's kicked in. You said something really interesting there, that someone approached you, your current employer approached you via LinkedIn. It just shows, and you know what, I've heard this over and over again. There's a large number of people, including yourself, that do a lot for the tech community because they've got a passion to share knowledge, not because they're doing it, but these people, these kind of employers are following you. And sometimes that is your CV, if you know what I mean. That's like your job application. We know what you do because we follow you. You're blogging, you're on user groups. Someone will approach you and say, you know what, I already know what you do. And that's a great example there, because there's actually loads of other people that have said the same thing. So
and
I wasn't aware.
That's the story of my tech career, basically.
I wasn't aware.
I'm just trying to stay down to earth and keep being me, and I won't ever stop learning new stuff, building on an extensive skill set already. I can't believe I just said that, because I'm probably one of the worst examples of imposter syndrome you could imagine.
Oh, imposter syndrome, yeah. Everyone feels it.
I'm not letting that stop me. I'm avid to learn, and I'm happy to pick up on new things and see stuff in a different manner than before.
The fact that you can push past imposter syndrome in itself is a great thing, and I think that's some of the best advice you can give. Don't let that stop you. for somebody starting out in security, Victor, somebody wants to learn this and get in this field in the current situation we are, where you have, cloud-based infrastructure, you have hybrid infrastructure, you still got organizations purely, on their own networks. What advice would you give to someone starting out now, as from all the experience that you've had?
Well, I gave this advice to a guy at the South Coast Summit because he was trying to, form his path into cybersecurity. So I told him that, start with basically what I said. Start with the basics. Get familiar with, Active Directory, how to secure it, Exchange Server, how to secure it, all that kind of legacy, boring old stuff, because it's still being used to a greater extent than you'd like to think. And alongside with that, look up the learning content on Microsoft Learn, because there is so much good content there. Like, they have all these new certifications for security, compliance, identity, all of the SC 900, 200, 300, 400, those kind of learning path, and try to, what speaks to me, what do I want to learn, what am I passionate about? And for those guys that want to do red teaming, penetration testing, stuff like that, my advice is the same. Learn the defensive side first, and you'll know what to aim for as a red teamer.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Learn how to defend, learn how to protect it, then you know what's protected and what the methodology to learn how to attack it.
Yeah, and you can look to your own experience and say, like, oh, most companies don't think about this attack vector, and I'll use that in my red teaming exercise or whatever.
Interesting. Should you be, as a security person, should you be thinking like a hacker of how a hacker would try to attack?
Well, yeah. Me working in the defensive side of things, the blue team stems from military exercises. Actually, the blue teams are the good guys. The red teams are the simulated enemies.
Right.
So yeah, you need to put yourself in some kind of mindset as like, if I perform this action, how exposed will I be? And what steps do I need to take to make sure that I limit that exposure as much as possible? So you kind of need to have both mindsets as well. You can't build like the super secure infrastructure, because then you won't have the productivity part of it as well, because, well, it's basically a server locked down in your basement surrounded by 3 feet of concrete.
And barbed wire.
Yeah, exactly. Faraday cages and what have you. The internet is a no-go zone. So yeah, that's the most secure environment ever.
So, Victor, with where we are today, where we find ourselves with hybrid working and hybrid cloud and cloud-first approaches, do you see organizations viewing security differently now, or is it still pretty much the same as before?
Well, I can't say that the pandemic has helped the companies work proactively with security, because when everyone got sent home and they needed to start working from home, my feeling is that companies they took steps they weren't quite prepared to take when it comes to security. They just published their VPN connection directly to the internet, no multi-factor authentication, just, we need to send everybody home. We need to make it as smooth as possible. So I think there were some kind of steps that were skipped. But that's why I think the area of information security, or cybersecurity, if you will, is super relevant. And it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger, these incidents we're seeing. We have had some luck the recent days with notorious ransomware gangs operating out of Eastern Europe being taken down by law enforcement agencies, but that's just a matter of time before they resurface with a new name, basically.
What a scary world out there, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you get a customer call stating that we're fully encrypt, fully encrypted. Our backups are encrypted. Please help us get back on our feet. And my company's like, well, we'll try. And we haven't had a single case where the ransom was actually paid yet. And I don't think we will, because we don't work like that.
Right. What's the longest, I'm not sure if you're allowed to say it, but what's the longest it's taken to bring a company back up after a ransomware attack? Does it take a long time?
The standard answer to that would be it depends, because there's no case which is the other one alike. Like it's a brand new case, totally different, prerequisites or what have you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Also, size of the environment and stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. How much legacy is there to adhere to? How many users? How many are privileged users? Fun story. One of my coworkers, he told me that, I was in an environment and 200% of the users were in domain admin.
Wow.
So they put domain users and domain computers as a member of domain admin. So yeah, there's the security hygiene is not up to standard at all companies.
Wow.
But trying to set a figure on what's the longest one, it's been a couple of months. Trying to get the last system back up and running. But on a regular basis, we're talking maybe a week, 2 weeks. It's like the most intense project you'll ever be a part of.
Do you think that companies don't take security seriously? They see it as a secondary thing rather than, and they should be focusing on security from the beginning.
Well, they certainly don't see it as a secondary thing after a breach. but there's this saying that cybersecurity can't cost any money until you've been breached.
Yeah,
and that there's really substance behind that saying, because I don't know how many companies I've seen or talked to that's we're so invested in our security posture, and then you just peek under the hood and it's like, well, no, you're not. So it's a bit of both. Not all companies are disregarding cybersecurity, but far from every company is prioritizing cybersecurity as they should.
Good.
So Viktor, getting away from cybersecurity, what else do you do outside of work instead of security? It's not more security, is it?
Well, I'm kind of paranoid person.
You follow yourself home.
Well, I'm paranoid to some extent, because the first thing that crossed my mind when I got the MVP mail was that, oh man, that's so cheeky, posing as the global administrator for the MVP program just to fish people. God, they really have no honor among thieves, right? But yeah, in my spare time, I try to spend as much time with my family as possible. I got my wife, my 2 beautiful sons, and they really are, the things that complete the circle. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So was that MVP award real?
Yeah, actually, I can show you.
Yeah, there it is.
I actually got it a couple of days ago.
Oh, well done, mate. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Oh, and the disc as well. Let's see.
The little glass ring. Yeah. No, well deserved, mate. How does it feel? When that MVP award email came through. You must have froze. And you must have thought, as you just said, you probably thought it was fake first. You're thinking, that can't be real.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing is, I was knee-deep working in an incident, and we have like these unscheduled calls where you enter the call, and if there's something to talk about, you talk about it. Otherwise, you're just sitting there working away. So we had like the final checkup after trying to close that incident. And I was checking out my personal email, and I was like, I just got awarded MVP. And everyone was like, wait, what? That was my response as well. I was like, well, I got an email here saying like, congratulations, most valuable professional. So it kind of hasn't sunk in yet. And it's been a month already. But, I got the physical award now. I got the stickers, everything about that. But yeah, it's such a big deal for me because it really goes to show, if you're real passionate about something and you want to talk about how passionate you are about these kind of things, good things can and probably will happen. I've got that kind of mindset of, reach for the stars, and you might end up in the treetops, but the treetops might be like 15, 20 meters above everyone else. So, try to aim high and strive for, the biggest prize. I'm not done as well. I won't be satisfied for, I don't know how many years. Maybe once I'm, fully stacked on cash and like driving my Maserati or whatever. But yeah, just now I'm feeling like I love doing what I do, and I love to spread knowledge to other guys or girls, just to, make good things happen.
It's what it's all about, isn't it, Viktor? If you've got that knowledge, share it. And having met you in person just recently, I can genuinely say that passion. You have that passion when you present, and a very humble and decent, human being.
Yeah, so, I'm not getting too bloated being awarded an MVP or anything like that. I'm trying to stay as down to earth as I possibly can.
Good,
and, I don't think of myself as any bigger or better than before. This is just a seal of approval, basically, which kind of has some kind of oomph to it when it comes to the communities around the world.
No, it's nice. It's nice that Microsoft actually appreciate what you do for them. So it's really nice that Microsoft, absolutely amazing for them to even award you with the award. And like I said, I think I mentioned this to you in the South Coast Summit. I thought you were already an MVP, and I think I said this to you as well.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so for me, it wasn't really a shock. I was like, he's already an MVP. Why is he getting another one?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that I've had a couple of other people reaching out to me on social media, like, hey, I saw that you just were awarded. I thought you were already an MVP. And I was like, why did you think that? Well, you're so familiar with it. You're sure English is not your first language, but you try to make the best of it. But you just seem so in place at what you're doing. So yeah, I take it as the biggest of compliments.
Your English is really good, by the way.
Seriously. Yeah, thanks.
It's really good.
Good commodity.
Yeah, it's like a mix of Swedish, American English, and Canadian at some point.
No, it's good. It's good. Your English is good. Do you know what? It's been a really interesting chat. Learned so much from you already. You're just being on this podcast, but Saj, what do you think?
It's been amazing. I just want to say, Viktor, I agree with him on what he said. You're a great presenter. I thought you were MVP as well, so it's no surprise to me. Yeah, you definitely deserve it. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
So it's speaking to you and seeing you in person. Hopefully, they'll select you for the Scottish Summit, and we'll catch up there in person.
Yeah, select him, please.
Yeah, exactly. We'll reach out to Gregor and make it happen.
Reach out to him. I think he'll be there as well. But if Shabazz is already volunteering, I'm sure he'll sort you out. You've actually started a new series with Shabazz, haven't you? You started a new podcast. Can you quickly tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. My relationship with Shabazz goes back like 6 months maybe. He actually reached out to me, as I said in like the first episode of our podcast, that he was looking for someone to write a book with, and I was like, "Who are you?" But yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. And we've kind of built it from there. And he's such a great guy.
He is.
I immensely I love spending time around him, chatting with him. So the podcast idea kind of grew from that, trying to stay in touch with each other and just talk about stuff. And given that we're both in the technical community, well, let's talk about the stuff we're passionate about. So we got a couple of interesting guests lined up. I've got a woman from my company. She spent like a couple of years in the military intelligence service in Sweden.
Oh,
so
wow.
she's a real cracker when it comes to human threat intelligence. The area is called. So working with insiders, trying to figure out who's susceptible to recruitment from nation state actors, whatever. And we got bunches of those kind of people at my company. So I'm trying to pick the raisins to come on our show to make it a big deal. And we actually had one of our he's the technical lead at our company. He was on the Darknet Diaries podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but give it a listen. He's talking about the cloud hopper incidents with the nation state actors based in China a couple of years back. So Darknet Diaries, listen to the episode about Cloud Hopper with my esteemed colleague Fabio Vigiani.
That's
It's
wonderful.
a real good one.
We will check that out. Oh, well, yeah, thank you for coming on. I don't have much more to say. I just, really appreciate you coming on. Looking forward to meeting you again in person. Thank you for taking out time to come on and spend some time with us. I'm sure we'll meet again. Saj?
I was going to say, Viktor, you also mentioned your book. So, the Shabazz and Viktor have got a book coming out in December. Is that right?
No, it's January 2022 when it's released. But it's out for pre-order on Amazon as we speak. Yeah.
Connect and pre-order. That's a security book as well, isn't it?
It's about the SC 400 exam, the Information Protection Administrator Associate exam. Kind of tongue twisting all of those certificate names, but if you're into information protection and you want to learn more about it, or you want to study towards the certification, buy the book. It really goes from the ground up what information protection in Microsoft Hemisphere is all about, and how to successfully implement it in your cloud and or hybrid organization.
Oh, excellent. I second what Imran said. It's been brilliant speaking to you, Viktor. And those that are listening, this will be on our YouTube channel. So like, subscribe, and once it's edited, it'll be up there for all you to listen again. Again, thank you, Viktor. It's been great having you on.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure talking to you again. Hoping to see you guys soon.